All right, we are less than a week away from the 2024 NBA draft. The NBA season just ended with the Boston Celtics winning the NBA championship. They went 16-3, I believe. Yeah, 16-3 throughout the whole playoffs, which is crazy. Anyway, enough of the Boston Celtics. We're talking about the Utah Jazz and the start of the offseason. Nothing has happened so far. Technically, you can sign extensions with players right now, but it's going to be a minute before Lowry would get an extension if they were to sign one for him. I mainly want to talk about a couple of guys on the Utah Jazz that I think I'd be okay with seeing get traded away this offseason. That might be Collin Sexton and John Collins. Take what I say with a grain of salt. Remember, I'm no expert. I'm just a fan who likes to talk about the Jazz and watch the games. So Collin Sexton is a great player. I really like his hustle. He does a lot of good stuff on the court, and I saw a lot of improvement throughout this past season than I saw the first season that he had with the Utah Jazz. I believe he has about 2 or 3 years left on his deal. When he got traded to the Jazz, he signed a sign-and-trade deal that was 4 years, $70 million. So he's one of the more expensive players that we have. But the Jazz also have $38 million in cap space. Danny Ainge has been saying that he wants to upgrade the roster this offseason. He didn't say, I want to go out and win an NBA championship. I want to go out and I want to be the 4th seed in the playoffs. He wants to improve the roster. Now, we were 12th seed the past 2 years, so I think anything above that would be called an improvement, right? Trading away Collin Sexton would be probably one of the better players to sacrifice trading away for another player who could help the team improve more. I want to talk a little bit more about John Collins. John Collins played 1 year. He has a pretty bad contract right now. It's $25 million a year. Last year, he averaged about 12 or 13 points per game. He had some great moments, and I think he's a good player. I think he's a good guy, and I think that a lot of people give him a little more crap than he deserves, but his contract is just so bad. So I think the Jazz would want to shop him around, but the question is what return can we get from him? You know, is it just going to be like a trade that we did with the Hawks? Like, we want more cap space. We don't want that $25 million a year, so we just ship him off for a second-round pick at Rudy Gay, just like we did to the Hawks? Or are we able to find a team that wants to compete and thinks that he could be a great addition? I think Danny Ainge could find someone for that, but also at the same time, we could be seeing John Collins for another year here. Now, an underdog of who I think could be traded is Jordan Clarkson. He signed that extension last year. Last year, we paid him, I believe, $25 million. The next 2 years, we were paying him $14 million. So he's a lot more easy to trade than he was last year. And he could be a great asset to someone who is trying to win a championship. Kind of outside the timeline of what the Jazz might need, but he is a beloved player here in Utah. I would be sad for him to go, but I understand why he would want to. Now, this is probably the 3rd summer that Utah Jazz fans have said, is Clarkson getting traded? Is he getting traded? Maybe, probably. Would it be this summer? Maybe, maybe not. Could it be the trade deadline? Probably. I'm sure Danny Ainge is going to make more trades at the trade deadline. But all signs really do lead to Danny Ainge trying to improve the roster. Now, it just happens to be free agency is terrible. Next year's draft is really good, and it also depends on who teams are willing to trade. So we could be looking at another year where the Jazz go 32-50 like we did, or we could be looking at a potentially 40-win team if we make some trades. And it's all going to come at sacrifices if that's the case. You know, we might need to sacrifice some first-round picks for a better player. Piece by piece. I mean, like, guys, Rome was not built in a day. I just hope it doesn't go 5 years without a playoff drought. I hope that we can at least get a play-in seed. We got a lot of developing to do with Keontae George. We got a lot of developing to do with Taylor Hendricks. And who knows? Jazz might trade away their 10th pick. I actually haven't really been paying attention to who there is to pick. I think the most I've heard is the guy from Tennessee, like Dalton Connect. But my guess is Danny Ainge will be having a lot of phone calls throughout this next week leading up to the draft and even leading up to that 10th pick. I just read an article over in Finland that they have a Lowry marketing exhibit in Helsinki, I believe. I wish I could see that because I'm going to Finland in October. That exhibit, I guess, goes away September 29th. So anyone who might have ins to this exhibit, you should tell the people to extend it a few weeks. So that's where you spend 17 can go see the lottery marketing exhibit in Finland. I'm really excited to go to Finland. 1 week till the draft. I think this is going to be a really fun draft, even though a lot of the players aren't that good. But all right, everyone, let's go Jazz. Mountain basketball is back, baby.